Where does your inner flame come from? Have you ever questioned that? You have to apply earth, water, and air to give that fire, that flame, weight. If not, it's just gonna burn unconsciously. Aries is the cardinal fire. It means it initiates and creates new ways of seeing things. But that comes from instinct, so that's why Aries are reactive. But they're the pioneers of the 360 wheel because Aries is correlated with the first house. The first house is the house of the self, the I am, the ram, head on first. You're pioneering. So the shadow aspect of Aries is if you're stuck in always being reactive and acting based on your instinct and not applying a little bit of earth, a little bit of practicalizing whatever just happened, a little bit of water, understanding, building and applying a little bit of emotion to whatever just happened, a little bit of air, the mental world. How are you interpreting whatever just happened? How are you coloring all of that together? You couldn't be able to expand, to create a sense of self. Aries is correlated with the archetype of the ram, which is the head on first animal. So wherever in your chart you have Aries at, that's going to tell you a bit more of where you have that raw instinctual elemental structure in your episodes of life. So the shadow of Aries is that they can become reactive to their environment and act based on their instinct without logic and practicalizing whatever the experience was. If you have Aries in your moon, you're acting based on your emotional world. So Aries being the ram and you having the moon there, it means that you're the ram with your emotions. Very reactive towards other people because you're the cardinal. You're ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of passion and aggression. Then the fifth house is correlated with Leo. Leo are the lioness. They're fixated with their instinct. So they're leaders because they can see and perceive a situation based on how they instinctually feel, which makes them the leaders, which makes them be able to fixate on their ego. If we look at the jungle, the lions are in the back. They're not the head on first, they're in the back. They're fixated on their sense of self. So that's why Leo is correlated with the fifth house, the house of entertainment, self-expression, because now you're building up your characteristics, you're building up your persona, you're entertaining and you're being entertained. So that's you fueling your solar plexus, your conscious side, because it's the masculine side. The sun is the solar plexus. We're operating based on the solar system. The inner planets are our own unique energies, and the sun is our conscious. So it's what other people see about yourself, your actions. So Leo fuels the sun when it's inspired, and then they can inspire other people. That's when they're fueling their ego for a good cause, for that instinctual raw action that they felt and now they fuel, they fixate on that. And then we have Sagittarius. Wait, before that, the downside of Leo, meaning the shadow of Leo going back, is when they're not aware of this innate power. We're gonna see Leo as egocentric or inspirational based on how they internally work on their shadow, because the ego for Leos are the main thing they have to work on. And depending how many planets you have in Leo, it's going to give you a better understanding of how to fuel this creative energy. Because the fifth house, again, is how you entertain and what you like to be entertained by. That's you understanding your ego, working on your masculine, and then you can fixate on your characteristics. You can value those characteristics because you're fueling them and you have a whole pack. That's Leo. The opposite of Leo is Aquario, which is dealing with the mental world. They're fixated on their mentality. So that's what makes Aquarios rebellious, original, and changeable. They're not always trying to be seen like Leo. Aquarios are the weird ones of the chart because they're carrying out all of the information. They just know a lot. That's what makes them unique, original, creative, alien-like type. That's why Aquarius are correlated with astrology, with networking, with technology. What is technology? Technology is basically the rearrangement of systems. So Aquario does that mentally. They know how to innovate new different mental maps. That's the polarity with Leo and Aquario. And then, if you have Leo in the 12th house, that life situation is being illuminated. Either you're putting energy there or other people are putting energy there. So Leo is the story there. No planets there, no energy there. So having Leo in the 12th house means that your dreams, your creativity, how you perceive the collective unconscious, you have to place all of this life situation into the sun, meaning what you're working on, what you're enlightening, the Leo archetype. Then we have the ninth house, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is wisdom, expansion, far out there things, the mutable, fire. They're mutable with their way of seeing. They're the seers of the zodiacal wheel. They're the centaurs, half horse, half human. So they're using their intellect to be able to be mutable with their fire, but they also use their instinct, their wisdoms. They're always seeking to teach or preach or know or experience. They're always seeing where they can enlighten or be taught. That's what makes Sagittarius wise. When we look at the opposing of Sagittarius is Gemini. Gemini are mutable, changeable, and adaptable with their mind, based on their past, present, and future thoughts. Sagittarius deal with experience and instinct. So that's what makes them creative. They're correlated with the grandparents because they just know. But Sagittarius are the typical to get a book and read the beginning and the end, like pages of the book, and think they know it all. That's what makes them preachers sometimes. They're ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, for out there things. Sagittarius have to learn how to manage their wisdom with their intellect and find the middle ground. So they're not always seeking for adventure. Sagittarius are the seers, but sometimes they have many options. So they're always jumping into the next adventure, into the next thing. So wherever you have Sag gives you a better understanding of this episode of life. And if you have a lot of planets there. For instance, I have Mars in Sagittarius, meaning that whenever I have that aggressive tendency, I can fuel it in how I attain wisdom. How can I semantically frame things and find the middle ground with Gemini? I'm sorry, I know I keep changing the angles, but my camera is acting weird. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the fire archetypes. But please guys, share your questions about what you want me to share about astrology. I'm gonna keep posting and we're gonna keep getting bigger, and I'm gonna start a podcast soon. So stay tuned and share your thoughts, and yeah, go look at your fire signs because that's your creativity. You're a creator, that's your spark. Know how to fuel it. And I know that sometimes my videos can seem that I'm like preaching, but I'm just sharing the knowledge I've gained and that has served me understand my own shadow traits, and I'm utilizing every single day. And I'm starting to share my path little by little, and I will keep doing so. And yeah,